Would WWE have a much better Raw this week? I'll tell you as WGS-TV reviews Monday Night Raw for the week of January 9th, 2018. Hey YouTube, are you ready for your hot tag? Because if you are, it's definitely time to work.
What's up, guys? This is Victor Morbius here. Face paint or no face paint, you're still watching WGS-TV.
Guys, I'm the Wrestle Gamer. Welcome back to another episode of WGS TV right here on youtube.com/WrestleGamer. I do apologize for the way I sound. I have been recovering from a cold, but I feel good enough to do the Raw review today, so that's what we're going to do. With how WWE failed miserably with their ending to Raw last week, in my eyes, I felt that they would have to redeem themselves with this week's show. I'm not saying that they would have to knock my socks off, because the show overall last week wasn't bad, but the ending was indeed horrible. But enough about last week's show. Let's talk about Raw. Roman Reigns would kick off Monday Night Raw by addressing his Intercontinental title defense against Samoa Joe last week and the conflict he's had with him over the past several weeks, including the injury to Dean Ambrose. Before he could finish his thought, out would come Jason Jordan to a chorus of boos from the crowd and would attempt to make himself a part of the Shield in a sense, since he and Seth Rollins are the Raw Tag Team Champions, and would try to thank Reigns on behalf of him and Rollins. Upon hearing that, Rollins would come out to correct his partner, who then made the brash statement that they were the most dominant three-man team in the WWE. If that's not a cue for someone to come out, I don't know what one is. Out would come the Balor Club, Finn Balor, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson to confront them, well, mostly Jason Jordan, and after a brief physical confrontation, Curt Angle would announce the six-man tag team match as the main event of the night. Personal opinion, like I said last week, the only reason Gallows and Anderson are face right now is because of Finn Balor. And I guess WWE is going ahead with this. As for Jason Jordan, again, I'll say it this week. I don't hate him in the ring, but his character needs work. Otherwise, decent start to Raw this week, 3 out of 5. Up next, it was Sasha Banks and Bayley taking on Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville of Absolution. The majority of this match was basically Banks taking the heat from Rose and Deville while Bayley stayed on the ring apron. Paige still looked hot though. The finish of the match was Banks locking on the bank statement to Mandy Rose to pick up the win. Personal opinion, I don't know why Banks was primarily used in this match while Bayley just stood on the ring apron for the most part. I do know Bayley started the match, but Banks was in it about 85-90% of it. Not a bad match, but I wish I had more to talk about on this one. That's how WWE has been with some of their matches as of late. Not bad, but not knocking your socks off either. 3 out of 5. Up next, it was Woken Matt Hardy taking on the winless Curt Hawkins, which stands at 0-152, I believe. This was basically the in-ring debut of the Woken Matt Hardy gimmick in WWE. Hawkins would continue his winless streak as the finish of the match was Hardy hitting the Twist of Fate to pick up the win. Bray Wyatt would appear after the match and have a weird laugh-off with Hardy in the middle of the ring. That's all they did. I'm not kidding. Personal opinion, I like WWE's first take on the Woken Matt Hardy theme. It's not the Moonlight Sonata piece that they used to be his theme in Impact, but for what it was okay. Hawkins should have the label Jobber put on his gear. 3.25 out of 5. Up next, it was the return of The Miz, who was introed by Elias in A Song of Swords. I tend to tune out Elias when he's singing. The Miz Entourage would start bickering over giving Miz the better gift, which was ended by the A-lister himself. The Miz would then proceed to cut a promo on Roman Reigns and the Intercontinental Championship, declaring that he's back and he wants his title back. Personal opinion, Miz knows how to cut a promo and work the crowd whether he's face or heel. I guess we now know what they're doing with Miz. 3 out of 5. Up next, the Cruiserweight Championship was on the line as Enzo Amore defended the title against Cedric Alexander. And it was a typical Enzo match where he takes the majority of the heat in the match, which is something he's kind of perfected in his singles career, taking huge bumps, and boy howdy, he sure took a rough one on the outside, which I believe led to him being counted out, which gave Alexander the win, but not the title. Personal opinion, I'm not exactly sure what happened with the somersault dive spot, but Enzo was not only clutching his ankle, but he was bleeding from the head. I believe from the still that you're seeing right now on the screen, that might have had something to do with it. And it really looked nasty. I'm surprised WWE kept the camera on him so long while the ringside doctors were talking to him. 3.35 out of 5. We would find out in a backstage segment that the Bar will get their Raw Tag Team Championship rematch at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, but wanted some competition from the Raw General Manager Curt Angle, and got some in the form of Apollo Crews and Titus O'Neil of Titus Worldwide. Now, normally when you think of Titus Worldwide, you would think that they were going to jab out to someone, in this case, the Bar. But that wasn't the case last night, as the finish of the match was Sheamus missing a bro kick to Apollo, getting hung up on the top rope, and Titus rolling him up for the pin. Personal opinion, I hope this doesn't change the Raw Tag Team Championship match at the Royal Rumble, because we have, in my personal opinion, enough triple threat style matches. I'm not saying I don't like Apollo and Titus, but the Universal Championship is already being defended in a triple threat match. I don't think we need another Raw Championship being defended in a triple threat style match. Otherwise, good match. 2.95 out of 5. Up next, it was Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman would once again cut a promo about the Universal Championship being a triple threat match, and as usual, Heyman was gold during the promo as he once again would sell the point of Lesnar being the most dominant Universal Champion, that he was unstoppable. As they were leaving, Lesnar would start doing his little dance, which screamed, "Come hit me from behind," and which is what Kane did. As they rolled backstage, which is something WWE rarely does these days, Braun Strowman would jump the both of them. First, Strowman would throw Lesnar over the top of a table, and then would throw a crate of sorts onto Kane. Then Strowman would do his best Indiana Jones impersonation with the grappling hook and pull down the metal structure backstage. Personal opinion, if that's not a wow factor, I don't know what one is then. 3.5 out of 5. Up next, it was Samoa Joe taking on Rhino, who is still on his quest to toughen up his partner, Heath Slater. They have clashed before, once in NXT and a few times in TNA. Now, was I expecting an awesome match? Considering where Rhino was in his gimmick and where Joe is with his, not really. Now, it wasn't really that bad, but Joe is really being pushed, and he's been cutting some good promos, so I was expecting him to go over. The finish of the match was Joe locking on the conceded clutch on Rhino to pick up the win. After the match, Joe would also declare that he wasn't done with Roman Reigns and that he was also entering the Royal Rumble match, and for some reason would react to John Cena and say that he would be the first person he was going to eliminate. Personal opinion, I wonder if we will get a response from Cena within the following 2 weeks to what Joe had to say. Could this also be the spark of a new angle with Joe and Cena? An okay match with a good promo after the match. According to WWE.com, Samoa Joe suffered an injury to his right foot, as he was originally selected to be Bayley's partner in the Mixed Match Challenge and will be replaced with Elias. 3 out of 5. Up next, it was one of my favorite reasons to watch Monday Night Raw in the form of the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka, who was going to be in a match until she got jumped by Nia Jax, who took her out. This is probably the first time since her Raw debut that we've seen Asuka being taken out in the way she was. She's been unstoppable since she made her debut on the main roster, so this really was the first time fans seen her like this. We would then find out that next week it will be Asuka taking on Nia Jax. Personal opinion? Don't expect that match to be anything like the classic they had back in NXT. I would like to see something close to it though. I really wanted to see more of Asuka this week, but I'll take what I can get. Just wish it wasn't so short this week. 3 out of 5. Up next, it was the main event, the 6-man tag team match, with Roman Reigns and the Raw Tag Team Champions Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan taking on the Balor Club, Finn Balor, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson. I would assume WWE is putting the Balor Club together for the New Japan Pro Wrestling nostalgia, and because if it worked with AJ Styles, albeit it was a short period of time, then why wouldn't it work for Balor also? Going into the match, with how the opening segment went, I was half expecting to see Jason Jordan mess up somehow, and that's pretty much what happened. When Rollins was going for the hot tag with Reigns, Jordan came into the ring and distracted the referee who didn't see the tag. Reigns would take out Gallows and Anderson on the outside, but when Jordan was helping Rollins up, he saw Balor coming, pushed him out of the way to only eat the dropkick in the corner, which set up the Balor hitting the coup de grace on Rollins to pick up the win. Personal opinion, if WWE's not turning Jordan heel, I would be shocked. I wasn't surprised to see Jordan be one of the principal causes for why their team lost based on his cockiness in the opening segment. I think WWE should expand on that for his gimmick. But he still needs work on his promos. I was also expecting to see Miz and the Miztourage attacking Roman Reigns after the match, all things considered, with not only his promo earlier in the night, but with also the announcement of their rematch at the 25th anniversary of Raw for the Intercontinental Championship. Nice main event this week. 3.5 out of 5. Overall score of Raw this week gets a 3.5 out of 5, with best match of the night going to the main event, with weirdest segment of the night going to Goldust channeling his inner coach from Rocky backstage with Cedric Alexander. I gotta say, it was pretty good though, but still kind of weird. Anyway guys, that's been my thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week. What I want to know from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on Raw this week. What are your overall scores? What are your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw this week? Definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. Be sure you put your comments in the comments section below. If you guys like this video, be sure you slam that like button. Like a champion if you guys want to see more wrestling review talk with awesome gameplays. You know the two ways you got to do it. You got to leg drop the subscribe button and hit that bell icon to turn on notifications. That way you guys will never miss out on any of my videos. So with that being said, I am your friendly neighborhood Wrestle Gamer, reminding all of you guys out there to stay awesome. Bye guys.